Coming up on News Live at 6, students premiere their own short films festival.
And Chancellor Severud speaks on the university's financials, his concern for the future next. News Live at 6 starts right now.
This is CitrusTV News Live at 6, your campus news leader.
Those accused of violating SU's code of conduct may be at a disadvantage compared to other New York State private schools. Welcome to News Live at 6. I'm Peter Elliot.
And I'm Marie Achkar. Thanks for joining us at 6. We'll have an in-depth look tonight into the university's disciplinary process, but first. If you're interested in short films or just need something to do this Friday, you're in luck. Orange Reels Film Festival is happening right now, and our reporter Sigourney Bell is right outside of Watson Theater to tell us more about it. Sigourney?
Marie, I'm standing right outside of Watson Theater where the second annual Orange Reels Film is happening inside. It's a for visual improvements and new to submit their work and be judged by Syracuse alumni. Right now, I'm standing with a junior who did her own resolution festival. Tell me a little bit what your film is about.
Of course, so explore what female friendships, especially like how they can be so fulfilling, but also like, you know, sometimes your friends are the ones who hurt you the worst, and this kind of all goes on down at a New Year's Eve party, so that was really fun to shoot.
That's cool. So tell me a little bit why we're on-campus film festival for students who are interested in film.
I think this is super, like, it gives students an opportunity to show their work. It gives students an opportunity to connect with other creatives. I know so many people here that are also submitting their work, and a bunch of
We do apologize for those technical difficulties. Well, thank you, Sigourney. It is Family Weekend here on the Hill, and each school here at SU is offering welcome events where you can show your parents around. All school welcomes begin at 9 tomorrow morning. There's also a marching band performance on the quad at 10:30. Now, if you're interested in esports, there's an information session at 10:30 tomorrow in Shine. And on Sunday morning, you and your family can participate in a family fun run on South Campus at 9.
So much fun here on campus. Well, despite SU falling in the U.S. News and World Report rankings, one school is going the other direction. Whitman is on the rise in the undergraduate business report rankings. The School of Management went from 47th up to 40th on the list, its highest ranking in more than a decade. The entrepreneurship program is also on the rise, up 6 places from last year.
Syracuse University is expecting to hit its Forever Orange fundraising goal by the end of the year. Chancellor Severud told the University Senate the $1.5 billion campaign goal is in sight. The fundraising effort started in 2019.
Severud also raised concerns about the growing financial struggle for private universities, noting the recent closures of Cazenovia College and Wells College. He says the school is focused on working with labor groups on campus as well. Severud also calling for a renewed focus from the Senate on funding collegiate athletics. He says schools nationwide are facing changing athletics landscape that will also be more expensive.
The Chancellor also provided an update on undergraduate admissions. The university received just under 45,000 applications to be a part of the current freshman class, setting a school record. Severud says the class is strong despite historic changes to affirmative action and what he called the meltdown of federal financial aid system.
Well, today, DPS also releasing its annual security report. The federally mandated report shows crime numbers from campus, the residence halls, and public property near campus.
In 2023, 16 rape cases were reported in residence halls, the same as 2022. There were fewer than 10 cases of dating violence in residence halls in 2022 and 2023. That's down from a high of 12 in 2021. Motor vehicle thefts took a major jump from 11 to 30 between 2022 and 2023. DPS says that's because of an increase in electric scooters and bikes on campus.
Yeah, we've seen those zipping around all the time. Burglary was also down significantly. You might remember that string of break-ins on South Campus back in 2022. That contributed to 28 total campus incidents. Last year saw just 10 burglaries. liquor law violation referrals also down significantly slightly from over 400 in 2022 to 376 in 2023. No arrests were made in either year for a liquor law violation.
Well, Peter, London and LA were the only abroad or domestic abroad locations to report a crime last year, and both reported burglaries in non-campus buildings.
Well, excitement is high for Billy Joel and Sting to rock the Dome next spring. The concert won't come without a price. Monster Jam will not be returning to the Dome next semester. Those two events would have taken place on similar weekends. Chief Facilities Officer Pete Sala says the Dome isn't done with Monster Jam just yet, though. The trucks, like Gravedigger, you know that one, are expected to return to the Dome in future years. Marie, that's good news. I've long wanted to see Monster Jam come to the Dome, so I guess just like how Vienna waits for you, Monster Jam will wait for all of us in the future here at the Dome.
Look, I know Peter was telling me right before the show that he's disappointed about that, but I have to say I'm a huge Billy Joel fan, so this is very exciting for me. So I will be attending. I don't know about you.
Yes, I think that's a trade-off most of us are okay with. We'll
Yes.
take Monster Jam coming in the future if we can get Billy Joel and Sting. People are forgetting about Sting.
It's a great duo.
Playing before him. That'll be pretty awesome.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to that one as well.
Well, you know what I'm also looking forward to, Peter, is
Yes.
our weather forecast. I know we
Absolutely.
had rain over the last few days. Today was a little sunny. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm curious if that sunshine is going to stay. In studio, we have our weather anchor, Michael Lamorte. Michael, what can you tell us about today's forecast?
So sorry, Marie. That sunshine's not going to stick around this weekend. We'll get to that in a bit. 73 degrees right now in Syracuse. Sunset around 6:52 p.m. and humidity. I never talk about this, but today I want to. It's at 61%. Usually you want to see humidity levels anywhere from 30 to 50%, but today we're seeing them in the 60s. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad, but a little uncomfortable out there. Might be a little moist. Let's take a look across the region now. So Fulton and Syracuse registering the higher temperatures across the region. 74 degrees. Unfortunately, Binghamton with that 71, just the outlier there. But generally speaking, good temperatures, good fall temperatures across the region today. Let's take a look at tonight. 61 degrees and clouds in the sky. You might want to wear a light jacket for parties, or if your family's around, it's family weekend. Even if you're bringing them to parties, you might want that light jacket, as it's going to be a little cooler at night, guys.
Thanks so much, Michael. Well, small farms have been a way of life in New York for generations, but times have gotten hard for local growers. Gabriella Peniston explains how rising costs and unpredictable weather is leaving farmers to struggle to keep their lands and livelihoods intact.
Farming has been a way of life in New York. Farming has been a way of life in New York for generations, but today, small farms are disappearing at an alarming rate. According to the Census of Agriculture report, New York has lost more than 2,000 small farms in the last decade alone. The pressures facing these farmers are unprecedented, from high land prices and labor costs to unpredictable weather. Polly Drexler, owner of the Springside Farm, has been trying other ways to adapt to these changes.
And if you wanted to be just the family farm, you would have to probably add some direct marketing, some value-added product. You can't just have 200 sheep and expect them to pay for themselves. They won't do that.
Drexler has also started hosting farm events to further engage with the community. However, the reality is that many small farms don't have the luxury of time to implement these changes and depend a lot on their communities for their support.
And to find that support that they're looking for, a lot of farmers come to places like this, a farmers market that sells locally grown vegetables and fruit.
For many farmers, markets like this one help them with their business. It's where they get their name out, sell their products, and keep their farms afloat. For consumers like Kevin Medansky, it's more than just buying fresh produce.
So I feel good supporting them, right, instead of getting it at Wegmans or Costco or something like that. But I just hope that it is an economic model that works for the farmers, because I'm happy supporting it.
From farms to markets, each purchase plays a role in preserving New York's rich farming legacy, one bite at a time. Gabriella Peniston, CitrusTV News.
Gabriella, thank you. Now to new details on the Oswego County Sheriff's deputy killed earlier this week. Kaylee Campbell's funeral services will take place at Fulton Alliance Church on October 1st. Deputy Campbell died while responding to a call when her cruiser crashed into another vehicle in the town of Volney. Campbell worked with the Road Patrol unit for 17 months.
And Syracuse police officers will take the ice tonight for a memorial game to honor fallen officer Michael Jensen. Jensen was killed during a shootout in Salina back in April. He grew up in Rome and played hockey with the Rome Hockey Association. Tonight's game will feature his Syracuse police colleagues as well as former teammates. Puck drop is in just under an hour at Kennedy Arena in Rome.
The Onondaga County Sheriff's Department is searching for a driver after a hit and run. Deputies found a man severely injured on John Glenn Boulevard Wednesday morning. Police are searching for a Nissan Altima that looks like this car on your screen. They say a black or dark colored car fled the scene after hitting the man. If you have any information about a damaged car, you are asked to call the number on your screen.
Syracuse is set to receive state funding to improve drinking water and replace lead pipes. The Salt City was awarded nearly $13 million in aid for local projects. Only Rochester and New York City were awarded more. Lead is harmful to the human body if it enters through drinking water in old, corroded pipes. The governor's office says the funding will go towards replacing old pipes in communities whose local poverty rate is higher than the statewide poverty rate.
And coming up on News Live at 6, Micron released their latest earnings report, how the company is doing and how the markets reacted.
Plus, New York City Mayor Eric Adams entering court today to face corruption charges, how he pled and how local lawmakers are reacting. Stay with us on News Live at 6.
Nice.
They took over my bedroom. Come on, come on. Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. Dad! You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
You're watching Citrus TV News live at 6 with Peter Elliot, Marie Achkar, and Michael Lamorte. Now, your campus news leader continues.
Welcome back to your campus news leader. Micron is in the green this week after a better than expected earnings report. The company stock surging 17% before markets closed on Thursday.
Micron is also forecasting strong first quarter results for next year as AI boom has led to a surge in demand for high-powered computer chips. The earnings report does not detail any plans for the company's planned chip complex in the town of Clay, but Micron is still working with state and federal agencies for permits. Construction is slated to begin next November.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams was arraigned in court today. Adams was indicted on 5 criminal charges of allegedly receiving donations to his 2021 mayoral campaign from the Turkish government. Prosecutors say Adams pressured city inspectors to open a new high-rise Turkish consulate in Midtown Manhattan, bypassing safety concerns.
Adams pled not guilty to the charges, saying he would continue to do his job as mayor. Throughout the case, Adams has faced calls for his resignation from New York politicians.
And one of them, now to see what Governor Kathy Hochul, how she is responding to those charges in her role as the chief executive of the state. She has the power to remove Adams from office. She says that everyone, though, has a right to be considered innocent until proven guilty, but public servants must be held to a higher standard, she says.
Hochul saying, quote, "This indictment is the latest in a disturbing pattern of events that has understandably contributed to a sense of unease among New Yorkers." If Adams resigns or is removed from office, the New York City public advocate, Jermaine Williams, would become acting mayor and would set a date for a special election.
All right, and coming up, I'll have a look at your 5-day forecast.
STEM is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. Dare to program something internet-breaking, record-breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to learn the difference between sedimentary and metamorphic rock. Go find those rocks. Dare to keep daring. Dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
From the CitrusTV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
That's right, SU's most accurate weather forecast. Let's take a look at that 5-day forecast. Friday, it was cloudy, 74 degrees the high. Let's move into Saturday. We're seeing some rain, possibly later in the evening. We'll get to that later on in the show. But Sunday through Tuesday, we're going to see partly cloudy skies and just clouds. Low 70s, mid 70s, some good weather. It will be all right, but let's take a look at Hurricane Helene. We saw that originally it came from Florida, right in that northwest region, as you can see on your screen. Now it's moving towards Kentucky. Let's bring up a timeline here. So it made landfall near Florida Thursday around 11 p.m. Then it was a Category 3, but now after 140 mile-per-hour winds, it turned into a Category 4 storm. Nearly 4.5 million without power, and now luckily, it's weakened, so Kentucky's starting to see it turn into a tropical storm. But later on in the show, I'll have your wake-up weather, your game day weather. But for now, I'm going to send it back to the desk.
All right, Michael, thank you so much for that update. And like you mentioned, Governor Hochul is sending a crew of rescue workers to North Carolina to help those affected by Hurricane Helene. The 16-person team will travel with 2 canines to Conover, North Carolina. That's about 45 minutes northwest of Charlotte.
And the team will work to keep roadways open, utilities on, and help transport medical supplies. The state is sending drones, inflatable boats, and high water rescue vehicles.
All right, shifting now back to the Hill. Parents are on campus, all looking ahead to this weekend's game, Saturday's game against Holy Cross. It'll be a sellout, and we've got Ryan Bridges here in studio to tell us all about it. Ryan, what's ahead in sports?
Yeah, Peter, definitely a busy week for Syracuse football taking on Holy Cross. I'll tell you how they prepare to bounce back from their previous loss against Stanford right after this break.
Women are bad with money.
It's what the world's been saying for centuries. But now,
we've got something to say. Save it. Save the old-fashioned advice, the empty excuses. It's all worthless, unlike us.
To our fellow females, it is time to save ourselves by saving our money.
Contributing to our futures, investing in our independence. until we're no longer 80%
more likely than men to live in poverty in retirement.
So again, we say to that, save it.
The falsehoods, the feelings of fault, then the funds.
Learn how to save for your retirement at wesaysaveit.org.
Dad?
Just 1 minute, okay?
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
For most pilots, it's easy to fly a plane when there's no turbulence. But once the journey gets a little cloudy, that's when you really see who the best is. Welcome into sports. I'm Ryan Bridges. The man in the cockpit, in this case for Syracuse football, is head coach Fran Brown. Following SU's first loss of the season to Stanford 26-24 last Friday, the first-year head man is making sure everyone else on the aircraft stays calm.
When you play us, just be quiet. So then that way we're just gonna go worry about us throughout the week. Don't give no ammo to me. You give ammo to me, I'm coming at you full tilt.
Syracuse and Holy Cross battle it out on Saturday. That's tomorrow at noon. Syracuse obviously fell on a game-winning field goal by Stanford at home. It's the first, and I should say last home game of this little homestand for the Orange. They go at UNLV after this, and Syracuse has dominated this matchup against the Crusaders. They've won the last 13 matchups. But let's go from a team that is starting out their season right now to a team that's starting to finish it up and head into the postseason. The New York Yankees were one win away from clinching the AL East. They sent Garrett Cole on the mound to get the job done. A 3.41 ERA on the year. The last start that he had, 9 innings, only 2 hits given up. Bottom of the second, a bomb from John Carlos Stanton, his 27th of the year, his average, its highest since 2021. Bases loaded in the 6th, a walk by Cianel Perez. Austin Wells takes first, and another run comes around to score. 6 runs in the inning for the Yankees. They've blown this one open. It's 9-0 at this point, make it 10-0 after Alex Verdugo homers in his only at-bat of the contest, and the Yankees get the ground out right here. Anthony Volpe throws him out at first. The Yankees have won the AL East for the 3rd time in the last 5 seasons. They're 2 wins away from getting the #1 seed and home field advantage throughout the playoffs. That's what's happening in sports right now. I'm Ryan Bridges saying so long, and Peter Marie, back to you.
Ryan, thank you so much for that sports report. When we come back from the break, we'll have one last look at your wake-up weather. Stay with us.
Welcome to my house. Lately, not my happy place. Everybody's pretty tired of each other. The parents were not themselves. My little brothers were morphing into small creatures. The walls were closing in. Clearly a case of too much family, too close, 24/7. And there's a lot of that going around right now. If this sounds like your house, try going someplace new. YourLifeYourVoice.org. You'll find lots of ideas to help you handle the family stresses of being confined to close quarters. YourLifeYourVoice.org. It might not get you out of the house, but it could help you find a little more breathing room.
Stand is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. Dare to program something internet breaking, record breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to learn the difference between sedimentary and metamorphic rock. Go find those rocks. Dare to keep daring. Dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
Welcome back. 62 degrees when you wake up. A beautiful photo of my family. So thankful that they're coming up here for the family weekend, guys.
All right, Michael, thank you so much. This semester, our investigative team will dive into the issues that matter around campus and Central New York. Today, we're sharing our first story with you.
Those charged with violating university rules go through a process that mirrors the legal system, but with one crucial difference. Luke Welsh tells us how vague writing may lead students to an unfair verdict.
The Maxwell School for Public Affairs has been ranked top in the nation for years in post-grad academic. But according to international politics PhD candidate Mary McLaughlin and other employees, it's recently been lacking in academic freedom.
I do not feel like I can in good conscience tell my students to act in favor of their moral beliefs if I know that they will be punished, threatened, and intimidated.
4 months ago, just outside Maxwell, on SU's quad was where the organized encampment in support of Palestine was held. Mary supported from the sidelines.
I'm kind of a coward and did not want to get punished.
But after seeing nationwide violence rise, Mary decided to register through the National Lawyers Guild. Their job then became to attend, observe, and report any violations of the First Amendment. And that's when the accusations started.
Being treated like a criminal, right? Being told I have an incentive to lie, it was clear that that was a really hostile treatment.
Mary received an email a month after observing the encampment the day they were ordered to disband. It accused them of violating the code of conduct on May 9th. They would have to go through SU's formal disciplinary process.
Evidence. It was super uncomfortable to share with my employer. I went on a Tinder date and had to send them screenshots of my Tinder date. Everyone I went to the bars, right? I just did not want to have to account for a 4-day span to my employers, but did.
The person who initially reported seeing her there would admit that he did not witness her, instead was referred by another that she was there. In a real legal battle, this would be hearsay and misuse of evidence, which would likely result in a mistrial. But instances of the university using the disciplinary process to mislead students to a guilty verdict isn't something that's new. In these cases, made headlines. Melissa Swartz is an attorney who represented star SU running back LaQuint Allen in both his criminal and university cases, and says that in her experience, the process has room for improvement.
Allows for a student to have a procedural advisor that is either a faculty, student, basically a member of Syracuse University. I do not think that the way the disciplinary system is set up right now is a fair process for students, no.
She's in agreement with a professor at SU Law School, Gregory Germain, who has been pleading for the university to create a more fair system since a change over a decade ago.
When the proposal came to the law school, many of us were very concerned that we were undermining the kind of judicial system that we have in the United States.
The law school rejected the idea of student self-representation, which the university conveys is a learning opportunity for those accused.
Well, I don't think they're learning anything positive from going through an unfair hearing process. I mean, other than to feel like, to hate the school.
Germain would reach out to the Department of Education, who would get involved in some cases, but ultimately decided to allow SU and other private universities to hold their policies. But there have been some recent changes.
I think it's very important, if you have a criminal case pending with your disciplinary case, that you have an attorney with you.
That's no longer the case. Just months after representing Allen in front of a judge and the university, SU no longer allowed for attorneys to be present in any non-Title IX case.
In terms of being at the hearing, I mean, it's horrible, right? Because I'm watching a student represent themselves against something serious.
The I team reached out to the community standards and those who accuse students like Mary of violating their policies, but they said federal law prohibits them from speaking on any case, and that any questions regarding their policies can be found on their website. But with no rule change in sight, Germain says there's only one thing students can do besides hiring a lawyer to fix the rights to academic freedom on campus.
Listen to arguments from all sides and to think independently and to accept other people's point of views. To a university that is dominated by very angry, loud students who have a particular point of view and don't want to hear any arguments to the contrary. And that's on both sides of issues. It's not one-sided. And so it's become kind of a violent atmosphere that I think is very detrimental to the learning process.
He urges those to look to the stances of opposing views with compassion, so students like Mary don't face threats of expulsion and termination for trying to keep the public safe. In Syracuse, Luke Welch, Citrus TV News.
Our I-Team reached out to other private New York universities. NYU and Columbia both allow outside counsel in all disciplinary cases.
Have a great night, Syracuse.